Yo, what's good YouTube? Welcome to my new video. This is the Earthquake Hammer of the Ancients Barbarian. Pretty unique, I would say. I've been working on this since the PTR. Some of you may have seen the video on my channel as well. So in this setup, we use Hammer of the Ancients for the overpower proc, and we are running the Bonebreaker Paragon node that guarantees overpower every 12 seconds to proc this one. And also from Variana, she has a ability that when she uses it, you have a guaranteed overpowers 3 times in a row. It depends not on the same target though. It can happen every 5 seconds on the target, which is perfect because our passive does last for 5 seconds. The new passive Warpath, where you get damage increased when you overpower. Not really sure when that really happens. I don't even know if that works, to be honest. I have not been noticing any orange numbers at all with overpowers or like blue numbers. So our crit chance is about 90% with the potion. So that's also very insane. Crit damage, critical strike damage is over 4,000 with my setup. My gear is not perfect. Getting gear is absolutely horrible this season. It's absolute trash. So the main thing, amulet, I'm missing counter offensive passive, which is a lot of damage increase. Instead of that, I have attack speed. It is what it is. That's what I just got. And masterworks aren't perfect either. This is pit 85. You can see it's no problem at all. I did try pit 93 after this as just a little test, but there wasn't enough damage. And well, I mean, I had bad mobs. So I will try to push more. I have 2 setups for this build, just changing 3 items. This setup right here on the screen is using Harlequin Crest, Yen's Blessings Boots, and the Amulet without cooldown reduction, because we have cooldown triple worked on the Harlequin Crest. I have greater epics as well, and the Axe Ancient's Oath. That's all we need for the maximum cooldown reduction. That's our main goal, by the way, get the cooldown, you know, as low as possible. So Ground Stomp is our main ability that goes down all the way down to 2.88 cooldown. I believe adding ranks to it decreases the cooldown even more, even if you go after the cap. So maybe Ring of Ravenous could see some, you know, usage potential here. I might try it out. And so the shouts are 6.25, Warcry mainly, and Steel Grasp is 2 seconds. Now we're using a rune that activates the Decrepify Necromancer rune. When you cast a skill, it gives you 50 offering. Our skills, as you can see, we're literally playing piano build. So that rune is active non-stop. And our tech rune, which is the Earthquake rune, we have a evoking power from other class, so that triggers it as well. So yeah, every like second rune cast we get like 4 earthquakes down or 3 earthquakes, so that's pretty cool. I would love to see the number of earthquakes we get, because Rumble Glyph is kept at 5, so no clue what's happening on the screen, but numbers are not that bad either. The second setup I was talking about, or I want to try, is the Ugly Bastard. Now it's rocking with Swag Boots, and for that you need Amulet with greater effects on cooldown reduction, and Masterwork the cooldown on the boots as well. So you reach the maximum cooldown potential. Actually, there were 2 overpowers in a row now. Okay, I'll take it back. The ability works for the Mercenary. But as you can see, pit 85. My glyphs for a level 80 here. They were not even maxed out at all. So yeah, pit 85, 7 minutes left with this build. Not too bad. I can see some potential here. We'll see if we get any buffs or updates, like as a mid-season update or whatever. So let me be both planner, and on the side, I will put this to the side and so for some more footage. If you wanna, well, so some of the pit, like start of the pit and whatnot. Let me roll it back. Free guys, let me find this taken from the stream, by the way, so bear with me, please. Alright, so with the planner, I will show you what we're working with. Let's start over with the skills here, assigned skills overview. So Hammer of the Ancients trigger the overpower for damage increase. Call the Ancients for the damage increase, attack speed, but also generation, and your Ancients create earthquakes. That's why we have the Ariad's pans here. It's amazing. It's really amazing. And why we have HOTA here, how this build works, let me just start with that. So if you overpower with Hammer of the Ancients, you will get a meaty and nutty overpower damage increase by 40% damage, overall damage, not overpower, excuse me. 40% for 5 seconds, and with this you will also trigger a Warpath, which gives another 12%. If you have Shroud, the chest piece of False Death, that's +1 to passives, you will get even more. I believe, yeah, so we'll get 2 buffs right here. That's our opener. You always want to start with that. You can use Shouts, you can use Ancients that will not eat your overpower stack from the Bonebreaker, so that's pretty good. Before it did back in the patches, but they fixed it. Steel Grasp, the group moves together, but we're also using the Axe here for the damage increase, 60%. You're aiming for that, and cooldown reduction here. The damage to close enemies, you're trying to get the full cap for the Paragon board, so it only requires basically on 1 item to have damage to close, the tempering I mean. And once you get enough masterworks, or if you have greater graphics on this axe and you masterwork it to 12 on the cooldown, you will not need the close here. So you could change it to crit damage, but early on, all the way, this is much better. Shouts for Unstoppable from Rallying Cry and Generation. The more Fury you get, the more Dust Devils you will create with Devilish aspects. So that's why I went with Ian's Blessings at first, because of Frizzo's Generation. Warcry, damage increase, Berserk proc, and Groundstomp the main damage, because Groundstomp itself can overpower, you could see it on the screen, for almost 300 million, which is insane. Because this is now a brawling skill thanks to a passive. So speaking of that, let's go over the skill tree. 2 points, doesn't matter. Next up, Hammer of the Ancients. Another great thing with HOTA is you will get 30% more Fury gain from all sources. This goes so hand in hand with the Devilish aspect to create those levels. It's crazy good. So this ability is such a great synergy for this setup. Ground Stomp, we can make it give us even more Fury. Again, great stuff, more duration on the stun. And here it makes it a brawling skill, dealing 900% damage, which is insane, and applies vulnerable. So with our Ground Stomp being 2 point or a 3-second cooldown, we have this non-stop, right? Damage reduction, HP increase, Rallying Cry. Excuse me, I need to change that. I don't have this on 45 because our 45 is from the Steel Grasp. That's what we have. Let me change it right here. Save build. There we go. So moving on from the Rallying Cry, we go down below. You also don't need any points in here to proc bleed. Once again, the chest, the mythic chest, will take care of that. If you don't have the mythic chest, you can just go with regular legendary chest piece until you get this one. Rage of Harrogate could somewhat work as well, but we don't really bleed because you would need an aspect for that. But I mean, you could have this instead. But I would just go with regular chest piece. Next up, Warcry, damage increase. Berserking as well. All passives here almost maxed out except Garoyel, but insane heal. You're basically even a support for the group. Not only you heal the group with this, but you can also trigger the from Ancient's Oath. The damage increase on the target is about 60%. The passives here, damage reduction, generation once again, and brawling here. If you don't struggle with having Berserker up, you can remove 1 point and put it in Prolific Fury. Another great thing about Ugly Bastard, it has a lot of stacks to Prolific Fury, so we will dish out those devilish, those Dust Devils like crazy. Pit Fighter passive, Steel Grasp, you only need this 1 point. Actually, not even this one, but as a starter, why not? To make it vulnerable, right? But you honestly, if you have Harlequin Crest with this setup, you don't even need to put points in it because it will all be already triggered. You can just grab it on the bar. This is our 45 generation, and once again, if you have the False Death, I don't even put point in it. I put it somewhere else, like Prolific Fury. But yeah, counter offensive, big damage increase. I did not have this on Amulet. You should. Insane damage increase, really crazy. Call the Ancients, you wanna max this out. The lowest cooldown this gonna have is 9 seconds. They lowered it last season. It was 10.25 seconds, I believe. So now it's much lower. Heavy-handed, our main damage gainer here. Crit damage with 200 weapons. If you damage with HOTA, your Ground Stomp and Earthquakes and Dust Devils will remember the weapon you last used, so it's gonna benefit from these passives. And Develop as well. Next up is Unconstrained. That's the only passive we can take, really. On the Paragon board, the first glyph we go with is the Twister, because these two boards I will show you have the most strength nodes. So this one is 105 strength nodes. That's for the Twister. Second board, we are going with, I believe it's a Decimator. Because we overpower and vulnerable, we get a lot of benefit from this one, and a lot of great passives here as well. Try to go for these as you can. Now, I didn't take this cluster. If you're a low Paragon level, don't really max out all these passives you see here. Just try to get the boards as soon as possible, legendary nodes as soon as possible, and then glyphs in. You don't even have to max out the glyphs just to trigger them to activate. It's more than enough. And then as you level more Paragons, you activate the glyphs even to the fullest, mainly the Rumble and Twister, and then you go for the clusters here. So Rumble has 110 points in strength. That's what you want to go for. Now, this additional bonus caps out to 5 stacks, which is 50% damage increase, and we have that in heartbeats. There's no problem. My favorite board here is Force of Nature. That's the new board. So Earthquakes have a chance to spawn Dust Devil, and Earthquakes will have a higher damage, scaling from damage to close, up to 150%. You want to get this ASAP. I will update the pinned comment what the cap is, because I cannot remember what it is. My apologies. So amazing here, damage increase for Earthquakes, and you want to also go for the size of those devils here, and Earthquake as well, duration. But the Devil's Size, this goes well with the Fierce Winds aspect that we have on the one-hander here. This one does more damage the bigger size it has, right? So the glyph here we put here is Challenger for the bonus to normal nodes, which are all of these runs. If you have fully leveled 100 Challenger, it gives a lot. That's why you want strength percentage on the amulet. But if you feel like you want another glyph, this one is pretty much flex, up to you, we can put it there. Might, I wouldn't mind, but that one is no good. Next board, we have Bonebreaker. This is the guaranteed O power for the Hammer of the Ancients to trigger the OP and damage. The glyph here is Wrath. This is great board for dexterity. Last points, I could put them here for more O power damage, which doesn't really, do that much, but this is the last note on dexterity. Very bad, unlucky that it's locked so far, but it is what it is. Stack up as much life as you can for survivability, damage reduction as well. And the last board here, we go with Blood Rage. You only need Temper, damage while berserking on the two-hander. That's all you need, that's all it takes. And the glyph here is Martial. This will essentially buff the berserking nodes, so the more you level the glyph, the less you will need. So early on, if you're starting out, you will not be capped for Blood Rage, but as soon as you level up the glyphs, you'll be fine. So that was the Paragon setup. On the gear now, we stop this one, because we are through and through. On the gear, we get Harlequin Crest, Glory Reduction, Masterwork, HP increase, DR, all stats, ranks, the skills, crazy. Pulse Death is amazing offensive piece. Result generation, amazing stat. The damage increase coming out of stealth and during stealth, nothing really crazy. We don't really want that, but we are mainly after the +1 to passives. On the Gloves Retribution, you stunned with Ground Stomp, so this is active non-stop. And this activates on bosses if you stagger them, which is the blue bar. But as you can see on the footage, we staggered the boss so fast that this, this is triggered very fast too. Does Devil's Size to cap out Fierce Winds. On the boot, on the pants, it's a bearing for the cooldown reduction, but also to have our ancients create earthquakes, and also those devils, even though from Talik they're not really. It's a joke. He whirlwinds and he casts those devils behind him where there are no mobs. It's crazy. And he has no movement speed. Yen's Blessings, a very good way to sort out the resistances with these two items. On my next setup, new setup, I do have the Ragnarok Wake, which also have resistances, so that's good. On the 200 aspect of Earthquakes, Ground Stomp, I just got this one max roll, which is amazing because aspects are really hard to get, so I guess the game knows. You want to Masterwork the Earthquakes, that's something I did not have in the footage either. And yeah, good luck by the way getting items, it's crazy. Devilish on the one-hander, we want to get swords for the great damage. If you want to get some style points, you can go Axis, damage over time. Dust Devils to cast twice, I didn't have this either, but you should get it. On Masterworks, here, Earthquake Duration, I went with Great Damage Masterwork. I mean, Duration could be worth as well. Something I need to test. Ancient's Oath, I like to go for cooldown reduction all the way. Now, on the Ring Starlight Sky, this is another reason why we have the Hammer of the Ancients. So we trigger that damage increase up to 50%. Gives us a lot of crit chance, lucky hit, and attack speed is also good to proc those HOTAs. So this is actually a very good ring and gives you double all res, amazing. On the other rank, Intercom, that we want to stay put for the damage increase, and strength, crit damage, crit chance is the same as gloves here. You want to get Brawling cooldown, which activates for both Warcry and Ground Stomp, and crit damage on the other temper. On the Amulet, crit damage again, and Brawling cooldown reduction once again. Strength, heavy-handed, counter-offensive. If you can get this, congratulations. I haven't seen a single one in the season yet, so that's pretty wild, right? Could you see it? Yeah, you could, easy. Now, on the runes, I am going with Soul and Tech. So the other power from another class is this Curse from Necromancer, Decrepify. This is really good for Pit because this will execute the mobs. Even Elites, very handy if you're pushing Pit, insane one. And fun fact, this happens for other classes too, but this rune makes our Earthquakes be much bigger, much larger. Basically, the effect of the curse is the area effect of the Earthquakes as well. Otherwise, the rune of the Earthquake here is not that big, pretty small. So it's pretty funny. And obviously, if you keep rocking this rune more and more, it will increase its size, so it's pretty good too. And we go with Yule because we are playing piano build. On the gems, I go with great damage on the weapons, armor is on strength, and jewelry really up to your setup, either armor or all resistances up to your setup. I will have a rotation added here as well as consumables and some more description in this build so you guys can see in detail. Also technique we go with 200x, that's the only one to go for. Now the strengths are AoE damage, sustain, and drip AK skins. Now the single target kinda, well, I don't know if single target is good or bad. It's up to you if you want to say it's good or not. I need some more testing and more runs. The only weakness is high gear requirement, but that's basically just like any bar this season. And I have only one GA item, so I would love to get full triple GA GG items, full set to see how this build can push. My goal would be to hit the pit 100. So hopefully that will happen. But the rotation is you want to start off with Shouts, or you want to go with Hammer of the Ancients to first proc the O-Power. You want to go with the Ancients after that, and then, you know, Ground Stomp or Steel Grass depending on the situation, and basically do Ground Stomp Shout to Ground Stomp Shout, because our Shouts reduced other cooldowns by 2 seconds because of Martial Glyph. And since Ground Stomp is 3-second cooldown, you would basically overkill the cooldown reduction with double Shout. So you will waste basically 1 Ground Stomp, so you want to rotate back and forth between Shouts and Ground Stomp. And I hope this was everything. If not, I will add it in the pinned comment, or if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comment section, or I stream every day both on Twitch and YouTube. The links will be in there as well. And with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. Good luck with the gear. It's very hard to get this. Even dropping, it's impossible to get tributes for the Undercity. But I heard they're gonna buff it, so that's pretty good. Anyways, take it easy. Thank you very much. And once again, peace.